I'm John Hinkle, Senior Pastor of First Presbyterian Church here in downtown Murfreesboro. This is your Saturday morning preview of Sunday morning sermon, which I just got through. I got in the office about 6 this morning. It's Friday and just got through with the sermon, and so here we are. We're not actually in a series of sermons as we were kind of working through Jocelyn's retirement and kind of focusing on those 3 anthems she loves the most. We now kind of find ourselves in a period where I've been kind of, I'm not saying preaching off the cuff, but just kind of preaching some things that are catching my eye. In June, we will begin a series that will kind of look at the life of David. But until then, this Sunday, we are going to do something different. Next Sunday is Pentecost, and Sunday after that is Trinity Sunday. And then after that, we'll look at the life of David. In fact, I have it down there. Let's see. June 22nd, we'll begin our series on the life of David. But this Sunday, we're reading from Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, and on chapter 4. But actually, this sermon is kind of a reflection on this book. If you go by Bobby's office, Bobby has a series of books that he is kind of suggesting for the congregation to read. This is a book called The Anxious Generation: How the Great Rewriting of Childhood is Causing an Epidemic of Mental Illness. And it really, in some ways, is connected to our dependency on technology. But as I was reading this book, and I highly recommend it, I really do. If you have children, if you have grandchildren, you need to read it. As I was reading this book, I was thinking to myself, well, this anxious generation isn't just talking about our children, it's talking about us too, and how technology, which we think will make our lives so much better, in many ways disconnects us from the world around us, disconnects us from the people who should matter the most, and more importantly, I think kind of disconnects us to the one who matters the most, which is our relationship with God. In reading Paul's letter to the Corinthians, one of the things that Paul makes very clear is that whenever we emphasize the us, meaning emphasize what we can do, what we do, how we do it, why we do it, whenever we emphasize us, we get it wrong. I think that's the whole manifestation of technology in our lives. It's about making our lives better. But has it? I mean, we communicate more now than ever before, but in our communications, how important are those communications? How in depth are those communications? How moving are those communications? How life-changing are those communications? Probably little to none. On top of all of that, I share in my sermon, and I've shared with you before, just my frustration with emails. I laugh. It's not in my sermon, but several months ago, and this person laughed too once they realized what they said. Several months ago, I had a church member one Sunday morning said, "Hey John, you haven't responded to my email." And I looked at this person and I said, "Well, when did you email me?" Because I think I'm pretty good about responding to emails. I said, "Well, when did you email me?" And he said, "This morning." Sunday morning. I don't know what he was doing. Well, I do know what he was doing. He was writing me an email. I know what I do on Sunday morning is I prepare for Sabbath. I prepare to rest and worship God, which is what we should all be doing. I have taken steps, again, not in the sermon, but reflected in the sermon. I, therefore, recognizing my dependency on technology, I've actually taken steps to disconnect myself with some forms of technology, especially in days of rest. I do not look at emails on my day off. I don't. As most of you know, but many of you forget, my day off is Thursday. So on Thursday, I just don't look at emails. I come back on Friday, I answer all of them, and trust me, there are plenty to answer when I get back on Friday. But the other thing I don't do, I don't respond to emails or read emails on the day of preparation and on Sabbath, especially on the Sabbath. So the question is, are we more connected to our cell phones or to God? Hey, remember, we have started our summer sessions. One service, 10:15. Sunday school is at 9 o'clock. And we will be welcoming Noah Rice as our new director of music. Last but not least, after worship, we'll gather under the portico for lemonade and cookies. It's going to be a great Sunday. It really is. I am so looking forward to this. So listen, shout out to the super fans. Just Savannah, like #1 super fan. She forces her friends to watch Saturday morning preview of Sunday morning sermon. How many are you are sharing this with your neighbors? Savannah does. Let's not forget Barry and Melanie. Marcy is going to be out of town, but she wanted me to know she's still watching. So, hey, if you want to be a super fan and get a shout out like Glenn Emery, just let me know. We'll talk to you later. Y'all have a great day.